Now the newest twist in this is that there was a Russian-born but apparently Russian-American citizenship lobbyist, somebody who may have had a connection to Russian intelligence. We don't have his name. There are a lot of maybes in there, who may have been the second person in this meeting as well. What do you make of the new development?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more serious than that. Yes, he's a dual Russian-American citizen, but he apparently was a Soviet. So we're going back to the 80s now, a Soviet counterintelligence agent with potentially continuing ties to Russian intelligence. Look, I don't know how was. Again, we're told, we don't know this independently, that nothing came of the meeting, but it's one more case where there's a new revelation that the White House and Donald Trump Jr. and all the other people involved don't put out themselves. It ends up coming out from the news media. And I think this is the biggest problem here. I think there's very little legal jeopardy for Donald Trump Jr., but there's a huge problem with the credibility of the White House because they kept saying there's no collusion, been no contacts, this is all a hoax, it's all fake news. And then it keeps coming up that people that we hadn't heard about did have these meetings. And of course, this meeting on the 25th floor of Trump Tower involving the president's son, his son-in-law, and then campaign chairman Paul Manafort. You know, they would be very well served simply to get together, make sure that every meeting that ever happened, everybody that had participated in every meeting, every time they had beef stroganoff or a shot of Stolichnaya, just put it all out there. It's going to come out anyway. You better do it on your own terms.
But do you think it's possible this is a case of political neophytes, people who this is not the world that they operate in? They do know about opposition research and people reaching out. It's something that campaigns do all the time, and that this is something that they maybe were amateurs at, stumbled into this meeting, found out it wasn't what they thought it was, maybe a pretext to get to what they really wanted to lobby about, and it was something that they had dismissed as being apolitical.
But remember that you've got in black and white those emails between Donald Jr. and the British former tabloid publicist, in which he said that this came from the Russian government and was part of a Russian effort to tip the election to Trump. And his son, Donald Jr., says, I love it. And, you know, maybe you can say that for Donald Jr., maybe you can say Jared Kushner. You certainly can't say it for Paul Manafort, who I've known since the 80s and George H.W. Bush's campaign. And you've also got Trump's nominee, the president's nominee for FBI director, Christopher Wray, saying in a hearing this week, you know what you should do if you get an offer of assistance from a foreign government or a foreign agent, you should tell the FBI.
And that's what people on both sides of the aisle we've heard say similar things this week. I want to make